What's up, DIY queens? It's your design bestie, Cara Newhart, and this is Make Space.
Kourtni, welcome to Make Space.
Hi. Thanks for having me, Cara.
Yes. So for everyone listening, Kourtni and I are really good friends, so this is going to be very casual. I have written down some questions so we stay on track because I will get very tangenty, as you know. First question, how did you get into DIY? Like, what was the segue to get started?
I feel like it was an accident, honestly.
Yeah.
So
Happy accidents, love it.
It is a happy accident. Because it honestly, I don't think I was supposed to do this at first. I mean, I went to college for marketing and I was like expecting myself to get this like big girl marketing job after I graduated.
Yeah.
But instead I met my husband who's in the military. And we got married when I was in my last semester of school.
Yeah.
And moved to somewhere I had no friends, no family. I knew nobody. And I kind of needed something to do. And when we first got married, we couldn't afford like anything except a place to live, you know, like a roof over our head.
You get the house and then no furniture. Cool.
Like we weren't like living paycheck to paycheck, but we couldn't like go out and like furnish the whole place. Like it was just unrealistic. So we kind of like learned that you could like flip furniture. So this was like before Facebook Marketplace was like a thing.
Right.
So we would go to like, you know, Habitat for Humanity, like the Restore place.
My favorite place.
Or we would like go to Goodwill and we would just like buy stuff. And then I learned that you could like flip furniture. So I like started like stripping furniture and like restaining it. And I kind of like fell in love with doing that. And Cody actually like enjoyed thrifting because this was before we had kids. So we had a lot more time on our hands.
Yeah.
It's plenty of time, even though I was always like, I don't have enough time to do anything.
Right?
Oh, jeez, how it... Yeah, I know. I'm like, now I'm like, what did you do with your time that you thought you had no time?
Right. For real. Like you slept in and then half the day.
Yes.
That's what I did.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So I started doing that, and then I think it was like kind of like when Pinterest was like starting to be a thing, and I'd like go on Pinterest to look for stuff. And this was like in the whole farmhouse era. Like I think this was like right before like Joanna Gaines really became like a thing. But you know, everybody loved like the chippy farmhouse furniture, like chalk paint.
Chalk paint.
So
I forgot about
the chalk paint.
Yeah,
the chalk
I was so into it, and the stencils and.
Yes, I was so into all of that, and so I like wanted the look. So I was like, okay, I could like turn this piece of furniture into that. And then I was like looking on Pinterest, and I found a blog post, and I didn't really know what a blog post was, but I like clicked on it, and I was like reading this article. I just thought it was like a website that I don't know. Like I honestly
like
didn't know what a blog.
Site. Maybe.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like I really didn't know what a blog was because I thought that was like a diary. I was like, that's kind of what it was to begin with. And it was Liz Marie Galvin, and she was talking about Haven Conference, about this decor and home conference. And I was like, I was like, people actually like do this for like and make money. And I was like, okay, how do you make money doing this? Like, what? I don't understand any of this. Yeah. And I was like, oh, okay, that looks cool. And so I told Cody about it, and I was like, you know, this would be cool to do this. Like, this sounds fun. And so then I started, you know, I built my first piece of furniture, and it was this freaking awful planter box. Like, the wood was warped. Nothing met up evenly. I used nails and a hammer, and I was like, this is going to be amazing. And I kept it for so long because I was like, this is the best thing I've ever made.
First one,
Yes, and it was also kind of like nostalgic too. I didn't want to get rid of it because I was like, look how far you've come, kind of thing. And then I was like, there's no room for that. Like that thing is freaking huge. And so that was the very first thing I built, and it just kind of like catapulted from there. I started like I learned that like about like hacking IKEA furniture, and I made my first IKEA hack, and I had like I documented all of this stuff because my family and my friends and my coworkers really liked seeing all the stuff. So I was just really into sharing it with all these like close-knit people, and then realized like, oh, there's a whole like world out there that wants to learn about all like the stuff that you're doing because you're like their next door neighbor, basically, like doing whatever. You're just, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's kind of like how it started. And then we moved to Tennessee. We bought our first house, and I was like, okay, I'm going to start this for the new house. And then I found out I was pregnant. Yeah. And then I was still working my same job that I had when we lived in North Carolina. I was just telecommuting. So
before it was a thing.
Yes, before it was a thing, I convinced the company to let me do it because it was such a good idea.
Right.
And so I went on maternity leave, and I decided that I didn't want to go back to work. Mm-hmm. So I was 3 months postpartum, and I launched my website, and I also went to Haven Conference that summer, like right when I left my job. Yeah. Or no, it was a few months after I left my job. And yeah, I just like went all in. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to try this. And like like Cody was like fully supportive of this, you know, like he's the, you know, breadwinner of our family. Right. And I'm like, he's very supportive and like, okay, if you want to do this, like give it 120%. Right. Like go all in for it. Yeah. Make it a thing. Cause that's how we are with everything. Like if we're going to try it, like we need to give it everything because, or else you're not going to know if it's actually going to work out. Right. And so I really had no idea like how I was going to make money doing any of it. I was like, I just want to do this. I want to go in full force. And like, I think that was the biggest unknown because so many people go into like the DIY kind of home decor stuff, like knowing how it works. And then like, hey, okay, I'm making a steady enough income. I'm going to leave my job now. And I was like, nope, I have a steady job, but I have no idea how this is going to work. But I'm going to just jump in. Yeah. And I did. Straight up jump. And then I went to the Haven Conference, didn't know a single person there. And it was when like Home Depot brought back the orange tank competition where like you get to pitch them your dream project, and then if you're a finalist, you give a presentation in front of them in a private room with like all these other people there, and it's super quiet. And super I had already super intense. Yeah. I will tell you, I was my senior class like representative, so I was like very used to speaking in front of people, and I love public speaking. Yeah. Even though it makes my insides feel like they're all gonna come out. Like
I went to like debate camp in high school, so like speaking has always been like, well, get on stage and feel like you're gonna barf and do it anyway.
Yes. And and it's always only like the first like minute, and then I'm like totally in my zone. Like, and I love it. Because I realized, like, okay, when you're talking about something you really love and you're passionate about, like, it comes across that way, too. And it's a lot easier to talk about stuff like that. So when I was talking about my project that I got selected for, to, like, as a finalist, it was just super easy to talk about it. Right. And then I ended up winning my, like, category, and that just, like, kind of catapulted me into working with the Home Depot and learning about other people I could work with, like other brands, and that's when I met some other like DIY bloggers, and just kind of like that was like our group. And I mean, some of those people don't even do it anymore, but like the only one who still does is Liz. Yeah. I met her like back in 2018.
Yeah. It's weird how parallel it is. Like you were a year before me, and like you and Liz meet at Haven, and literally the next year, same thing. Jesse and I meet at Haven, and we like just missed each other. But I remember like looking at your project to figure out like how does the orange tank work, and like looking at what you had done, being like, wow, like she really is so good at this and like knows what she's doing. And then I pitched them this like wackadoodle like girl garage. It was because they're like trying to.
No, I remember that furniture project.
And I'm like, I'll put the furniture in a workshop where there's gonna be lots of sawdust, but like let's get a couch involved. And they were like, yes, like sure, you want to paint things pink. Yeah.
Yeah, I pitched them this project where I was going to build like 5 pieces of furniture, and I'd never like built a piece of furniture before, and I was like, Like, I'm gonna act like I know what I'm doing. This is gonna be amazing.
Right?
Yes. And like, I remember finishing the entire project like the weekend before Thanksgiving. Mm-hmm. And I was like paranoid that they weren't gonna like it, and they like it was like better than what I thought it was gonna be, and it just So that's cool. Basically how it all started. It's such a long story. It has really just turned into something I had no idea that it was actually going to be.
Right, which is so cool. And now we're on house number 2.
Yes,
in Key West. And I feel like something that I like love watching about you is you create such a clear vision for your house. Like I remember it when you're moving from Nashville to Key West, you're like looking at your house and you had this like whole plan of the style of the whole house. And I was like, wow, that'd be a really good idea if I like thought ahead and did that. So how do you like come up with like that vision? Was it like in your head is like, this is the style I want and I'm finding a house to fit? Or you like saw the house and you're like, ooh, this is like the vision for the style.
So this house, I did not like it when we first like looked at it online. Mm. Like this was Cody's house. He was like, I want this house. Like this is going to be great. And the house I wanted ended up being taken off the market right before we came down to house hunt.
Okay.
So I looked at this house not liking it at first. Right. I was just like, it's a Crayola box. Like, I just don't know where the potential is. And then I saw the backyard. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing.
Yeah.
The backyard, like the outside of the house is just as big as the inside.
Yeah.
And we had gone on a baby moon when I was pregnant with my middle child. And it was to Key West. So we walked around the entire island. And I saw a lot of like Spanish architecture in some of the buildings. And I was like, I really like that. I feel like that would be really cool to like design a house with like, I don't know, Spanish inspired like design. And I always told Cody, like, wouldn't that be cool if we could buy a house that looked like that? Like maybe an Adobe style home or just like something that had a lot of character. And I was like, I don't think we're ever going to move to California or Arizona or Texas. Like, I don't think we're ever going to move anywhere where we could find something that already like structurally kind of has those bones. Yes. And so looking at this house, I was like, this could be like, we could make this a Spanish take on that and, but make it more of like a beach style Spanish bungalow. And I was like, okay, we're going to do that. And so I bought like 10 books for like Spanish architecture and design. And I was like, okay, I could put this in here, like this could go in there. And it's not your standard home in Key West, that's for sure. Because a lot of people take on the brightly colored Margaritaville style, I guess you could say. And I was like, I don't even like that restaurant. So I don't want to have a house that looks like that.
Right.
And the biggest way I felt like I could have a clear vision for the whole house is creating like a mood board for every single room. And I think other people would find this a little overboard, but when we were looking at the home and then we decided like, okay, we want to put an offer in on that house, we went back to the house to go look at it again. And we went and bought a measuring tape from the Home Depot.
Yes.
Like here, we went and saw the house. A couple hours later, we're like, "Can we go look at it again?"
Right.
And so
with the measuring tape, I love this.
So they let us come back, and we had a measuring tape, and we're like, "We're gonna put an offer in on the house, but we want to measure everything." So like we measured all of it. I went back to the hotel room and I mocked up a floor plan, I was like, "This is how we could do all of this," and I was like, "We could actually make this work."
Yeah.
And so it started off like that, like. We kind of like went full in before we really knew like it was going to be ours.
Yeah. But I feel like that's like such a good way to do it because then it's like you're removing a lot of the unknowns. And if you can see it, like it's it versus just an offer and like, we'll figure it out later. Like, will the couch fit? I don't know. Like, I guess because I've bought 2 new builds before this, right? Where there was like a very clear floor plan and you get all the measurements. Like that's just part of it. And I'm on this house where it's like, the room is not square, much less is anyone have any measurements for what's happening. It's a dumb matter, but
and like and that was how it was for this house. Like, and I think the hardest thing, like when people look at a home, is like they are so distracted by the things that you can fix with paint and decor. Like, Cody and I can easily walk into a space and delete everything that's personal about the space. And we can see like what you can improve on the space, like things that you can fix, like structurally, like that won't be like, you know, a big ticket item that'll take your whole budget. And things that will make like a big impact. Like I know like beams in homes are like faux beams is like a huge thing right now. And like if that fits the style of the house, then like that's a big thing you can add that's not super spendy, that will make it look
huge impact.
Like, exactly.
Huge. Yeah. I love
so we're very I don't think a lot of people have the concept of doing that, but I feel like it's
like you don't know what you don't know, right? So it's like if you don't know that that's an available project to you, you're walking in a house and you don't even know what you could do to make it look different. So it's really hard to see past what's there and see a vision besides what you know is possible. Like, okay, I could paint. What could I paint? Versus like, okay, I have a list of all these projects that I've either done before or I've seen done before, and I know what's possible.
Yeah.
So
and I think
having that reference is like really good.
And like the biggest thing that like we've, I think, done that's like helped us is like finding a house that actually has like really good bones that you don't need to replace, like, you know, everything. Like, yes, there are some things in this house that, you know, we've found that it's like, oh, well, that's great. Like, we're going to spend a whole bunch more money fixing that than we wanted to. But, like, we didn't buy a house that has foundation issues. Like, we didn't buy a house that needs the roof replaced.
Like a roof or, like, a whole heater or, like, a whole,
So, like, we intentionally look at things like, okay, like, if this small things here and there that need to be fixed, like, a kitchen, bathroom remodel, like, that's fine. That's kind of normal. Usually, like, when you buy a house, you know you're going to renovate. Like, those are things you're going to fix, usually. And, like, looking at this house, we're like, okay, we could take that wall down. Like, we're like, you can take that wall down. That'll be fine. Like, and I do think it helps, like, coming from my 9-to-5 job was construction development company. So I was very understanding of, you know, how things work as far as like how long it takes to do stuff and, you know, what's actually realistic.
Doable.
And yes, like things that you can actually do. And I think that's very hard. That's something, it's hard to learn, but you could definitely learn it. But I think it helped that I had that like background. Yeah.
That's like the neighbors that just bought this house next to me. It needs so much work. And she's like adding up everything she needs. She's like, I just wish I had $1 million to like fix it. And it's like, you'd buy a different house if you had $1 million. Like, let's be real. Like,
no, seriously. And then there's all of like the, you know, financial stuff in the end. Like, you know, are you going to keep it? Are you going to sell it? Like, you know, are you going to make your money back on certain things? And I know like a lot of people who are buying a house or renovating it, a lot of people will tell you, like, you know, don't look at like resale value, stuff like that. Like, yes, like if you're not planning on selling it, like don't look at resale value.
It's your forever home. Like, who cares about resale value? Yeah.
But if you know that you're gonna move, like I wouldn't make everything super specific, but like there's certain things that like I would do differently if I knew that we were gonna keep the house.
Like there's I would places you'd invest money that doesn't make sense on paper for a return, but like for your life and living in it would make sense. But yeah, you have to consider that. Otherwise, it's like you're spending your money in the wrong spot. But I feel like there's like workarounds. Like if you invest in like building your own furniture or like furnishings, like stuff you can take with you that makes the house what you want, but isn't like painting a crazy color that you have to repaint when you show it kind of thing. Maybe that's how to do it. Yeah.
No, I totally agree.
Here for it. So another thing you're really good at is making spaces feel very cohesive. Like when you design a space, it's like all these little DIY projects, but like put together to make like this space that feels like it's cohesive. So what are your tips for making things feel like they all work together? Like the room isn't just a bunch of like patched together projects from Pinterest, which is what I feel like a lot of newer DIYers kind of have, because it's like, oh, I want this and I want this and I want this, and then you mix it together and you're like, ooh, like this doesn't quite go.
Yeah. So I think where I start with it is like the way that I do that is by creating a mood board of the space that I want, regardless, like, you know, I don't take into consideration any DIYs I want to do or anything like that. I just make it look how I want it to look. And then I will go in and say, okay, this room would actually cost like $20,000 if I was to do it like this, which, you know, who has that money to do that?
Right.
Because I don't. Exactly.
I would probably go live on an island. But
I probably wouldn't be doing projects like that if I had $20,000 to do something.
There's many things that I could buy besides projects, but here we are.
Exactly. So I basically take exactly what I want it to look like, and then I go and figure out what can I DIY, what can I maybe buy and like DIY, fix it a little bit.
Yeah.
Because there's like, you know, there's things that you could absolutely DIY and save money with. And then there's also things that you can DIY that might cost a little bit more, but it's going to be built better.
Right. Like wood furniture versus particle board that will fall apart. Yeah.
Exactly. And so, you know, I always think about like, you know, is the juice worth the squeeze when it comes to the certain project? Like, you know, are you going to put in like too much money into it to where it wasn't even worth it in the end?
Right.
And so the whole space as a whole, like for instance, like say my office. So I did DIY beams in my office. You can also buy faux beams, but the DIY version was cheaper. It took me a little bit longer, but it was cheaper.
Right. Cheaper.
Exactly. And then there's, you know, I could have built a desk, but it probably would have been just as expensive to buy one with how much wood costs right now.
Right.
So, and like there's like buy to DIY as well, like unfinished furniture. Like I would say a buy to DIY is like an IKEA hack.
Right.
You're buying a product, but you're DIYing part of it to look like how you want it to.
Right. Which is like the best place to start if you're beginning, because then you're not building from scratch when you don't know how to build a square box. You like assemble it, build around it.
Yes. And I think that's the like, you know, best beginner project to start on. Mm-hmm. Because you have this shell, you have like the concept already, but now you're just making, you're tailoring it more to like your style.
Right.
And so that's like the big picture of what I try to do for a room is like, okay, this is what I want. And then these are the things that I can do like myself. And I could probably, you know, buy those curtains from another place that is cheaper, but it looks the same kind of thing.
Like duping. Which is your skill. We'll get to that in a minute. But so on your mood board, it's like kind of literal. Like we have photos of literal. Like, I want this arch, I want this here. Versus some people do mood boards like it's a vibe. It's like there's lollipops. Like where's that going? It's like it's the feeling, okay? But yours
I can't
like
do
literal.
vibes.
Me neither. I mean, I depends on the thing.
Like I do like I get like, oh, this is the vibe I want, like I get that,
right.
but mine is very literal. Like the mood board looks like the room,
right? Which is how I do mine too. Like I literally take a photo of the actual room and then drag things onto it, and it's like it's actually not a mood board, it's more of a design plan. But some people's mood board is very like loosely inspired.
Yes.
But you're picking exact things, and then how much does that change? Like once you have the vision, you're like, this is it, we go, we do it? Or is it like me where it's like, we're going to do a whole different plan now in the middle of the project?
I think it depends on how long it takes me to execute the project.
Yeah.
Because, so our kitchen, the mood board, it's changed a little bit over the past like year and a half that we've been working on it. And that's like not realistic timeline for a kitchen.
Right.
But
it's
where I'm at in life right now.
Right?
So
and shipping delays and fun things.
Yeah, shipping and I started the kitchen renovation like in 2021 when it was like a nightmare. Like when we were, you know, head is just barely above COVID. Like you barely getting there over the hump, and it's like there's just a lot of things I had to work around.
Yes.
And then I think I just got burnt out by it, that I just wanted, like when you just want to have something checked off your list.
Right.
You just want to feel something.
I want it to be done so that I'm not living in a renovation anymore.
Yes. And that's what we got it to. We got the kitchen to a point where it's like not a renovation anymore, but we don't have a range hood. So,
right.
Hopefully there's no fire kind of thing. There's no pendant lights above the island. There's we're missing some storage open shelving for things. So there's things that are missing that make it complete. But since it's taken so long, I've I think settled more into the feel of what I want for this space. And I was I was thinking about certain color schemes as far as this would be wood, but now I'm maybe we should make that an extension of the countertop and make it quartz instead of wood. So it's turned into that, but it doesn't change a whole lot when it when it's completed. I think the only time it's ever completely changed is maybe if we get a brand on board for sponsoring part of the project, and they
use a certain thing.
If they have specific marketing needs, and it's not totally exactly, it's the same concept but not the same color palette, yes, or style. We'll try to still fit it in with what we're trying to do, because I still want it to be something that I like. So usually it doesn't really change much from the actual design concept to fruition.
Because it is funny, it's a spectrum between having the whole thing perfectly planned to a T before and winging it, and everyone is in a different spot on the spectrum. I would say either end is not a good place to be, because if you plan it out, it will never go to plan. If you wing it, there's no plan, so you're really flying rogue. But I feel everyone's on a spectrum. I can do loose plan,
yes,
really strong elements, I know I want this color, I know I want this layout, I know I want this, but then other things, it's until I'm started the project, I can't even see it. I'm doing right now this shed that I'm turning into a bar, and it's I don't know what to put on the walls until the ceiling's painted the color I know, and the floors and the cabinet, and then I'll know what it is, but only when I see the actual room.
And there's always one piece that's the anchor for the room, this one piece has inspired the entire room design. So that one piece is not going to change. So
which is the way to do it, because otherwise you're designing and avoiding everything's up for debate, where if you pick a piece, everything has to build off of something. So then it's okay, the next thing, now that we have this, we have to do this, whether it's a color or a layout, or you're not inventing something out of thin air. Which is hard. But dupes. I feel you're really great at finding dupes. Do you have any tricks for duping things, or do you just look that looks like that, let's get it?
So I have this odd talent where I'm just kidding. No.
you do. It's a black box. I'm how does she find these things? I would have to spend hours scrolling around.
It is kind of on two hands. So there's two different ways that it works for me when I do it. So one way is I have seen a product, or I come across something and I'm not looking for it. I am looking for something else, and I'm oh my gosh, that looks just like this. That looks just like this thing that I saw in somebody else's house, but I don't know who makes that. So I go and I look and I'm okay, that was this, but now it looks like this. So sometimes it's not me finding the dupe, it's me finding the actual, I'm looking at the dupe and I'm oh, that looks just like this thing. So that's a dupe from this. And so it that's one way. It usually ends up going that way.
Because it's easier when you're not looking for something to align up.
And then if it's something that, I own, a lot of times I'll try to find something that's at another price point. Because a lot of, when you share stuff that you really like, it's not going to be in everybody's budget. So sharing something that's, at a different price point helps, to get the look that you want without, breaking your whole, budget for the project. And so you can actually search on Google, for images. So you can image search on Google and it will look all over the internet for stuff that looks kind of like that.
Yeah.
And that's another way that you can look for, dupes or something similar.
Right.
And that's kind of the technical way to do it,
Right.
on one hand.
Yeah, reverse image search, like sleuthing versus just like happening
Yes,
upon it.
which I feel like I have a weird knack for that. Like,
You do. It's like,
and I don't know
every time. I'm like, this is like exact. Like, where did she find this?
Well, and then I worked in retail like when I was younger. Like when I was like a freshman in college, I worked in retail, and I learned a lot about retail in a way that
behind the curtain, kind of.
Yeah, and so like there's like wholesale purchasing, like so there's like wholesale markets where like it's a brand that has something, and then you can find out that people are like multiple companies are buying from the same buyer,
right?
And then they're just doing
item.
and they're just
like,
doing the markup on their own for like their brand. And like
their name on it. That's what I learned you could do. Is like white label, and you put your name on it, so it looks like it's yours.
Yep. And well, there's a few brands that everybody really likes that does that, and I'm like, oh, I know where that's from. I'm like, I could, and like you can buy the cheaper product that somebody's selling for cheaper that's not marked up as high, but it's the same exact thing at your favorite like designer's store, their shop that they have.
Which is interesting about dupes, because some things it's like it's literally the same thing and you wouldn't know unless you knew it was the same vendor or manufacturer or whatever. Other things, it just looks like it looks right, but then there can be a big difference in quality. Like lighting is my best example. Like Amazon lighting versus other light fixtures. Like sometimes there's really great things, and sometimes it's like, yeah, it looks the same, but it is like,
but the holes don't line up.
And it like hangs off the wall because the metal is so thin, it bends and it can't hold its own weight. Yeah. So there's things like that too that are fun. Trial and error. Like,
yes.
Take it off the wall, send it back. Try again.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I love this. So when you have like a vision for where you want to go, do you see yourself just like renovating more and more houses? Do you want to like settle in one place forever? Do you want to do flip houses? Like, what's your 10-year plan? Which is ridiculous.
10-year plan. It changes so much, and sometimes it's so hard to have like a clear idea of what we want to do because Cody's job is the military.
Yeah,
he's in the Army, and so we don't move around as frequently as like some people do because he's so far in his career that we're not moving as much as other people would.
Right.
But we are looking to buy, like, I don't ever want to call it a forever home because, we're not opposed to moving. Like, if we find, an opportunity that, really excites us, then we're not, like, it's not a bad thing if we're like, oh, we're done with this house. But that house looks really cool. Like, that has potential to be something even better than what it is right now.
Right.
So we're not opposed to that. But we like over the past like couple years, like while we've lived here, like in Key West, we've really looked at like wanting to create like, I guess you could, like generational wealth, I guess is what it's called.
Yeah.
And like Cody's parents have retired. My dad's retiring next summer, and so we really want to create this space for our kids to grow up and like have family all around because military life, you're used to being away from family and your family is your friends, and we want to kind of change that dynamic and have them live with us because we have the opportunity, down the line to live somewhere a little bit longer than we normally would.
Right.
And my dad is actually a realtor and a mortgage broker. Like, he has his license for all of that. And like we want to try our hand at like flipping homes. I'm not sure how we feel. I don't know how I'd feel about that like in the short term.
Right. But like
because
long term maybe.
Yeah, like flipping homes is, I feel like there's not as much time put into the design aspect of it. Like, you know how you look at a home and you're like, oh, that's a flip because the floor is gray, the cabinets are gray.
They bought whatever was on sale.
Yes, and I would have such a hard time doing that because it's cheap.
Right,
you get to, like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like it's not. I'm so used to looking at a space and seeing what it could be to its fullest potential that I would have a hard time getting it to like 20%, and because it's the cheapest that way.
Right.
So I don't know if we're really going to like flip homes, but I'm really interested in creating like experiences for people.
Yeah.
So I think I want to do something like that down the line, whether it be, you know, like an Airbnb experience or
even like a long-term rental. You like buy and fix up and make it like a really good design and like rent it at like a good price. Like there's lots of options for doing it that way versus quick and cheap, and makes me
Cody has this
angry with the gray.
Cody has this idea that he wants to have a Christmas tree farm, so I don't know. He just
sign me up. This sounds so fun. I will come visit.
So, like, I'm totally on board for the Christmas tree farm. I think it's really cool. Yeah. And where I grew up in it was a really small town. It's called Yucaipa in Southern California.
Okay, yeah.
So if you look at it on paper, it looks like yucca pie. Like, it's super weird. Yeah. Like, and how to spell it out. But there is this family that owned a local Christmas tree farm, and they also had a pumpkin patch. Like, that was their thing. In Southern California. Okay. And it was, like, the whole town always went there. Like, that was where you got your Christmas tree if you lived in town. That's where everybody always went. And I think that we want to create something like that, but, like, an experience.
Community experience kind of thing.
Yes. Because I know that, like, millennials and, like, Gen Z are so into experiences.
Yeah.
That you want to, like, you want the experience over how much it's going to cost, really.
Right. We're sick of the things. Like, we're sick of accumulating things for money. We want maybe a thing, but also, like, something that's a fun story or a connection or...
Yeah. And I think
more interesting.
I grew up, like, always going there for, like, the pumpkin patch, like, every year when I was a kid. And I was like, I want my kids to have something like that. And, like, there isn't anything like that, like, where we've been. And I'm like, well, why don't we create it? You know? Like, there may not be, like, a high demand for it at the time. But I think that once it happens, it's like, you can't not do that now. It's like, you know, the tradition. Like, we don't have family close by for us to have, like, traditions, like, you know, that you do the same thing every year, but, like, the same concept of something every year. Like, we have a Friendsgiving every year because nobody really goes home for Thanksgiving where we are at because it's so expensive. And then there's, you know, people he works with that, you know, don't have anybody, like, not even a significant other. Then it's like, you know, make something that your family makes all the time and bring it over to our house so everybody else can enjoy it. So I'm like, it's like that concept that I want, like, for everybody else. Like, I want everybody else to have that too. And I feel so strongly about it that, like, I think that we might be leaning more towards creating something like that than, like, flipping homes.
Mm-hmm. I think that's so special because it's like everyone craves that connection, right? And it's like so ironic that in an era of the internet where there's millions of strangers at your fingertips, like, so many people don't have that and still feel alone. But it's hard to create that. Like, it's hard to, in a void, be like, I'm lonely, I want connection. So having a project like that where you're creating space for people to come to do that is, like, it's just amazing and so needed. Like, it's so needed because I feel like I don't know if you've heard of the concept of, like, third places. It's like this idea that, like, we have our homes and we have work, but there's not really any, like, third spaces for us to, like, go to and connect because we either have, like, I guess a coffee shop's, like, the best example where you can go and connect, but it's still, like, a business. It's not, like, a public space. We have parks, which would be considered a third space, or, like, churches, but then that's really tied up in, like, your whole belief system. So in terms of, like, places where people can come, connect, do something, be together, there's, like, a lack. And it's like where there's an activity versus just a like go ride a roller coaster kind of thing. It's like you're coming to hang out with people, and there is an activity, but it's not always the main focus like the connection is. So I think it's cool to see like more people wanting to go that direction, or more people like you thinking of that. Like, how can we make a space that's like for the community and also for us, and also like a place for tradition.
And I think that like the reason why like Cody and I kind of feel so strongly about like going in that direction is that being in the military, you don't have that.
Right.
And like creating a space for all of like the people who are still in that,
right,
like makes it feel a little bit better. Because I think like the hardest thing is moving somewhere where you don't know anybody and it's new, and like I mean just for anybody like moving anywhere and you don't know anybody, it's hard. And I think the easiest way to like combat that is like finding, you know, like that third space that you're talking about.
Yeah.
And like where, you know, this is the first place we've lived where it's like not predominantly military. It's like super weird. Like my kids go to school and we're like the minority at the school when it comes to military. And then like where we were before, it was like everybody is military. It's a military town. It was built because of the military that was there. So I mean, obviously it's not something we could do here because this is not where we're going to be forever.
Right.
But definitely where we're going to be moving back to.
Right.
Like everybody is like, oh my gosh, you're moving. I think they forget that like we're not going to be.
That was always the plan.
Yes. Like, and I told everybody that like when we first moved to Key West, I was like, this is only for a few years and we're moving back to Tennessee.
Right.
People are like, you're moving? I'm like, yeah, like eventually. Like,
yeah.
I'm like,
right.
Everybody kind of forgot that was going to happen.
That was the thing. Yeah. It's so funny. I know. I feel like that it makes sense because it's like military. Like you move, you have certain horizons of like, we'll be here for 2 years or 3 years or 5 years, or sometimes yeah. And then I'm over here just like moving on a whim. Like, let's throw it all away and move. Like, I was like,
I always think about like, okay, if we had the option to move anywhere, like where would we move? And like, and I honestly have no idea where we would move.
Right.
So I like in an odd way, I'm very like grateful we get to move every few years.
Yeah.
Because in what world do you have the experience to live somewhere where you wouldn't maybe
pick
necessarily
for yourself or think of even maybe?
Yes. So when we lived in Tennessee, I loved it. I cried when we moved because I just loved it so much. Like, you know, my kids grew up in the house that we bought. It was our very first home. And I found out I was pregnant 3 weeks before we moved to Key West. Mm-hmm. So we bought a house that like was not big enough for another child because we just didn't know it was going to happen. And it's like, guess what? Better make some room in the office for the
like,
crib.
Knowing it's an office anymore. You work from the couch, like so.
Yeah, I just started working in my office again like this week.
So excited.
But so like, I never would have picked to move to Key West.
Right.
Like I never would have lived here, but knowing that we were gonna move here, it was like the best thing for our family and our marriage. Like, and not knowing that that's what our family needed until we got here was amazing. Yeah. And so getting to move places that you would never actually like think about. Right. Yes. So like I know a lot of people like really dislike that fact about like this lifestyle, like having to move a lot, but like we lived in our last house for 5 years, which is on average that people own a home for before they move. So it wasn't a huge deal to move again.
Right.
I feel like we lived there for a while. There's lots of memories made there.
Right. Like done. I feel like it just depends on your personality. Like I need to move a lot. Like I've only ever been in a house for 2 years. Like ever. That's the longest I've ever been anywhere.
I feel like we're only in this house for 3 years. Now I'm like, I need another year. I feel like I'm not even close to being done yet.
Definitely. So there's like projects left behind every time I move where like I've never felt like I'm like finished with the house, but I'm like ready for something new. It's like, oh, we don't need to finish that. Let's go. Like, let's start over. Like, which is exhausting. Yeah. It's like, what if we channeled all that starting over energy into this house and just finished it? But like, nowhere has felt like home. Like, all the houses we bought, I like look up and I'm like, I don't think I'm going to be here very long. Like, I just don't feel it. It's just weird.
No, so
maybe I'm just a nomadic person. Like, maybe that's okay.
Which I know there's people who move quite often, but I don't know anybody who moves that much who like renovates a home though.
Right. It's like a weird mix. Normally people that move often have it like down to a T. Like, we have not a lot of stuff and we unpack and pack fast, but it's like I'm like fully invested, like ripping apart walls. Like, let's live in it while it's in construction. And then the second it gets nice, we should just sell it and leave and not be able to enjoy it. Like, who came up with this plan? Because that's
I don't know, but that's definitely going to be us too. We full on lived in this like renovation to a point where I was like getting messages from people saying, how are you living like that? And I'm like, I don't really know. I don't know. I wouldn't recommend it though, because it's, we weren't expecting me to be pregnant while I was doing all of that either.
So first things first, there's that. Yeah. And then
there's that.
You're not planning to keep this house. Like, that was never on the table. It's like, we'll keep it.
So it was on the table to create an experience. And that was going to be our experiment for the whole creating an experience for somebody. And can you still hear me?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Oh, it died. My one died. Yeah, I still have one. And I was like, I knew it was going to die.
Right.
So that was like where we got the whole idea to have, experiment with creating an experience for people.
Right.
Because, we're renovating this entire home and like our audience gets to see it and then giving them the option to experience everything. And saying, like, I saw all of this, like, for what it was before, and, like, now this is what it is.
Right.
And, like, and then living somewhere where people vacation frequently, we were just like, this is such a great opportunity to give people a sense of, a place, like, that's familiar to them that they can come stay at and visit. Right. But logistically, now, it's not happening.
Right.
Just because of the way that Airbnbs work here, they're kind of like grandfathered in for whoever already has one.
Oh, okay.
So you can't really start a new one. Like, there are some that you could start, but then there's like specific neighborhood areas that are, they're called like transient rentals, which is an Airbnb, so it's short term. And then there's long-term rentals that are like 28-day plus.
Okay.
So we would fall into the 28-day plus, which would not be a large portion of like my audience.
Right.
Like I don't know.
To live in Key West for a month, like
exactly. Yeah. And so it was kind of a hard thing to like something to fill.
Right.
And with hurricane season and all that, it was like, okay, well, we would have to like. I would be the one like managing the property to a point where I was constantly going to be coming back to prep it for a hurricane type of thing. But then it was like, okay, well, what if you can't come back in time?
Right.
Because if a hurricane does hit, they close down
all the roads.
The bridge to get in here.
Yeah.
Like it's like no go. You gotta have a sticker to like get in here.
It's like serious. Yeah.
Serious. Like. You can't come in. There's probably no flights coming in. Like,
right.
So, like, just logistically, it just was not a good idea. And this only happened probably like last November, that we decided that it wasn't going to happen anymore. Okay. So, like, up until that point, we were designing this as this is going to be an experience. Yeah. And now we're like, nope, not anymore.
Right. But that's so cool because it's like you still designed for resale value. Like you still designed for other people to be able to love it as well as you. So it's like still going to sell well, I'm sure.
And I'm just really excited for whoever gets to buy this house.
Right.
Like whenever that time comes.
So lucky, right? Look at all you've lived through to make it happen.
I don't know. Like the people who bought our last house, like my neighbors ended up telling them like what I did for a living, and it was just really cool that they got to see like, oh, they actually did all this kind of thing, which some people would be like, no, don't tell anybody you did that kind of thing.
The people that bought my house were very excited too, and then I was like horrified because it's like how much I've actually shared on Instagram and how open I've been about things going wrong, and it's like still out there in my stories. Like they at any time could be like, oh wow, like here's what happened behind this wall. Like,
like so
they were here for it, so bye, it's your problem.
Well, so when we listed our last house, I guess I had shared something on Instagram and somebody brought that up to like the realtor, and they were like, oh, well, she was talking about this, you know, is that an issue? And then I was like, we fixed that, so I don't know what they're talking about.
Right.
And this was like over a year before we had listed the house. So this was like they like went like back. Sleuthed way back, you know what I mean? So I was like, okay. So there's like that aspect too of like, oh, okay, like how much are you actually going to share online for the world to see, and then you're going to sell the house.
Which is just like knowing your limits and knowing the balance and knowing like what you're capable of. For me, it was like electrical work because it's like my dad was an electrician. That was my high school job, but like no one knows that. And if you're watching a video of me doing electrical, you're like, oh, she probably learned on YouTube. Like she's probably messing it up. So it's like, am I licensed? No. Do I know what I'm doing? And do I know when to call someone? Because it's like out of my skill set? Yes. But like you wouldn't know that from the video. So you could definitely be like, oh, like illegal electrical work, you know? So some of that I was like, maybe I shouldn't share. But it's like, if it passes inspection, like we're good. So, and it did. So
no, I totally get that. Like, I mean, for us, like, ironically, we have to have a permit for everything living here. So, you know, whoever buys the house, they're going to know everything's legit because we had to get a permit for everything. So, like, in the long run, it's like, fine. But then I'm also like, well, you know exactly how I did that. Right. And then also, if you don't like it, you can take it apart, which...
Right. You can just redo it. It's yours now. Your problem. Yeah.
That's the one thing I'm scared of. So the house that, like, you know, we're going to move back to the same area that we lived before. And I'm like, I can never drive by that house because what if they change something that, like, I loved? And then I'd be like, how dare you?
I know. There was a few projects in mind that I'm like, I don't know if they're going to keep this, like my make shit happen wall in the bedroom.
Oh, in the bathroom.
They like loved it, but there were also like Hispanic, like from Mexico. So they spoke really good English, but she didn't get the joke at first. I had to like explain it to her.
Oh, that's so funny.
Really? Yeah. So then they were like, yeah, that's not like very funny. Like, whatever. We're not buying the house because of that. And like, who knows if it's going to stay or leave. But the other thing was the floors. Like, I redid all the floors in the whole upstairs. And it took me so long to do. I did like the big room and then each room like here and there. And they definitely like before they moved in, like ripped them all out because they wanted them to match the downstairs, which was like these dark floors that I didn't get to pick. So they like matched them and ripped them all out. And it's like, I just can't look. Can't think of that.
That's what like I can't it's fine. It's like, you know, it's like not your house anymore or whatever. But it's like, it's hard like internally, like remembering like how long, like how much time and effort, like your labor of love for that project. It's like
I sweated and cried. I cried on the floor to be like, I don't know how to do this.
Exactly. Yeah. Like, so it's like, you know, an emotional bond to like certain things that it's like, that's why I can't look at.
Right.
I can't know.
Yeah.
I don't want to know.
Yeah.
Like, it's like when people like do things to sell their house, like, oh, we're going to replace the floors, like update them. I'm like, no. Don't update your floors for me.
Right.
Like, just
I will do it.
Put myself. That money, like, shave off some money off of the list price.
Right.
And like, just don't replace anything.
Right. Because usually people want that because then you can move in and it's done. It's like, no, I want to pick the exact thing. So
yeah.
Give it
oh
to
my
me
gosh.
Cheaper.
The people who we bought our last house from, there was like, I think it's called like melamine countertops. And they were green, like 90s forest green. Yeah. And then the cabinets were like white oak. They were really pretty. And he got this like piece of green granite, and he was like, you know, we were planning on using this. Like, he's like, I thought this would really look really nice. Like, if you guys want to keep it. I straight up looked at him and said, you can keep it. We're going to paint the cabinets and we're going to put different countertop. His jaw, like,
people are so intense about the
he
wood
was
painting.
I was so mortified, and I was just like, I probably shouldn't have said anything, but like,
sorry,
we already had the keys to the house, like, and he was just giving us some stuff at the end, and I was like, it's a beautiful stone, but it's not like what I'm
not the vibe.
It's not the vibe at all. And I was just like, you don't want to see the house, like, probably now, like what we've done to it,
right?
But I mean, I don't know, you know, to each their own. Sometimes it's hard.
Like, listen, you can the next person can strip off the paint if they want to do that. Like, it's fully possible. Horrible to have to do that, but fully possible if you want it back. So do what you love in your house. But I mean, I'm excited for everyone to follow your journey and follow like this house getting finished and what you do next and all of that. But I guess we should tell them your Instagram. So where can everyone like connect with you online?
So my Instagram is Kourtni Lee, and I just happen to have a really hard spelling of my name and middle name.
Right?
So it's Kourtni with a K. So.
And then we'll link it in the show notes so we don't have to spell it out loud.
Yeah, I was going to say, I could spell it for you, but.
Yeah. Well, this was so fun. I loved like unpacking your journey fully. I know we've done that a lot, but for all to hear this time. And it's so fun. So I hope a lot of people will be
It's fun getting
inspired.
To tell it.
Yeah.
Sometimes I forget how far we've come.
I know. Isn't it wild to look back and think of like your first project and be like, oh, I really knew nothing there. Like, we were flying blind with hopes and dreams, just like,
oh, we were
winging it. Full confidence that I'd figure it out, though. So that's all you need.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, I love this.
Thanks for listening. And if you've got more episodes to catch up on, binge on. Don't let me stop you. But if you've got a second, you should come say hi on Insta at MakeSpacePod. And if you're an overachiever, you can also leave a review and I'll love you forever. If you're new here, hit that follow button to officially become a DIY queen and join all the amazing humans tuning in every week.